Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Can you feel that heavy smell reaching your nose? Dusty papyrus scrolls, sharp cedar oil, and olive oil burning in lamps. The year is 250 BC. You are inside humanity's only unbacked up memory, the Library of Alexandria. In the marble corridors, it is not just your footsteps that echo. Among 500,000 scrolls, the whispers of millennia of genius circulate. To your right, traces of mathematicians who solved the universe. To your left, original manuscripts forcibly taken from every ship for which wars were fought. This is the ancient world's internet. But outside, the wind is changing direction. The smoke rising from Julius Caesar's ships will soon consume not just this library, but humanity's future. If you are ready, we are rewinding time and stepping between the scrolls. The morning mist hangs low over Alexandria's harbor. A Phoenician merchant vessel drops anchor, its hold filled with Indian spices, Syrian purple dye, and grain from Cyprus. The captain expects the usual customs inspection, soldiers counting amphorae, weighing cargo, calculating taxes. He's wrong. The soldiers boarding his ship are not looking for contraband silk or untaxed wine. They are hunting words. Every chest is opened. Every cabin is searched.
Eureka.
The captain's personal belongings, carefully wrapped in linen, are unwrapped with deliberate precision. A junior officer finds what they are looking for, 3 scrolls tucked beneath a wooden box. One contains astronomical observations from Babylon. Another holds a physician's notes on treating fevers. The third is a play copied in Athens 3 generations ago. The captain protests. These are his property, purchased legally in Rhodes, carried across dangerous seas. The soldiers are polite but absolute. Everything containing written knowledge belongs to Alexandria now. This is not theft. This is state policy. Walk with the scrolls as they travel from the harbor to the royal quarter. The city opens before you like a geometrically perfect dream. Alexander the Great designed this place with his architect Dinocrates, laying out streets in a perfect grid that captures the Mediterranean wind, cooling the stone even in summer heat. But Alexandria's true architecture is not visible in its buildings. It is built from words. The scrolls reach a complex of buildings unlike anything else in the ancient world. This is not a single library. It is the museum, a city within a city, dedicated to the muses, those divine sisters of inspiration. But the men working here are not priests chanting prayers. They are scholars, and their devotion is to understanding. The Ptolemaic kings who rule Egypt after Alexander's death understand something revolutionary. Knowledge is power, and power requires investment. They offer the brightest minds from across the known world a deal that has never existed before. Come to Alexandria and you will receive a royal salary, free housing, tax exemption, and unlimited access to the greatest collection of knowledge ever assembled. Your only obligation is to think. Consider what this means. In Athens, philosophers survive on the generosity of wealthy patrons, always one political shift away from exile or execution. In Babylon, scholars serve temples and palaces, their research directed by religious or military needs. But in Alexandria, for the first time in human history, knowledge is pursued for its own sake. This is not philosophy as luxury for the rich. This is state-sponsored research, funded at a scale that will not be matched for 2,000 years. Now return to those 3 scrolls from the Phoenician ship. They are carried to the copying rooms, vast halls where state scribes work in disciplined silence. Each scroll is carefully unrolled. The original text is placed before the most skilled copyist. He will reproduce it word for word, letter for letter, including any marginal notes or corrections from the original author. The work takes days. Papyrus is expensive. Precision is mandatory. Any error means starting the entire scroll again. When the copy is complete, something occurs that will outrage every merchant who arrives in Alexandria's harbor. The soldiers return to the ship. They present the captain with the beautifully executed copy, wrapped in protective linen, sealed with wax, and they keep the original. Stamped with Alexandria's official seal, marked as property of the Royal Library, the authentic text disappears into the museum's collections. Some records specifically label these acquisitions from the ships.
This is the world's first knowledge monopoly enforced at sword point. Every vessel arriving in Alexandria is subject to this literary confiscation. A grain merchant from Sicily loses his grandfather's medical notes. A philosopher traveling from Athens watches his personal copy of Plato's dialogues claimed by state officials. A ship's captain carrying correspondence for a Roman senator in Egypt sees those letters copied before delivery. Nothing is exempt. Nothing is returned in original form. The Ptolemies are not collecting these texts for prestige or decoration. They are building something that has never existed, a comprehensive archive of human knowledge. Imagine trying to create the internet before electricity, before printing presses, before even the concept of public libraries. Every piece of information exists in singular, fragile copies. A house fire in Athens can erase the only record of a mathematical discovery. A ship sinking off Crete drowns the sole surviving manuscript of a lost play. The Ptolemies look at this scattered, vulnerable network of knowledge and make a radical decision. Centralize it, preserve it, protect it. By 250 BC, the results are staggering. The library holds approximately 500,000 scrolls. This is not 500,000 individual texts. Ancient works are divided across multiple scrolls. A single copy of Homer's Iliad might occupy 24 separate rolls. Aristotle's philosophical writings could fill 50. The library's true collection represents perhaps 40,000 distinct works. But what works? Philosophy from Athens sits beside astronomy from Babylon. Egyptian medical papyri share shelves with Indian mathematics. Greek drama neighbors Phoenician navigation charts. This is not merely collection, this is collision. Ideas that developed in isolation for centuries suddenly exist in the same building, available to the same minds. A mathematician from Syracuse can consult Babylonian astronomical tables while developing his theories. A physician from Cyrene can compare Egyptian surgical techniques with Greek anatomical studies. The effect is explosive. Knowledge does not simply accumulate in Alexandria, it synthesizes, it transforms. Scholars are not preserving the past, they are building the future. And at the center of this intellectual revolution stands the museum, that impossible place where kings pay philosophers to think. Stand now at the entrance to the great reading halls. The scrolls from this morning's ship seizure are being carried past you, joining thousands of others in the climate-controlled storage rooms. The captain who lost them is already sailing away, carrying his copies, probably cursing Alexandria's tyrannical laws. He does not realize that his astronomical observations from Babylon will be read by Eratosthenes next month, inspiring the calculations that will measure Earth's circumference with stunning accuracy. He cannot imagine that his physician's notes will inform Herophilus's revolutionary understanding of the human nervous system. He thinks he has been robbed. He is wrong. His knowledge has just entered immortality. But immortality is more fragile than stone. Follow the scrolls deeper into the museum complex. The marble corridors narrow. Torchlight flickers against stone walls treated with cedar oil, that sharp,
preservative scent that keeps moisture from rotting the papyrus stored in rooms beyond. Your sandals echo on polished floors that have absorbed centuries of footsteps. Though this place has existed for less than a human lifetime, it already feels eternal. The storage chambers stretch in both directions, carved into the Egyptian bedrock beneath Alexandria's gleaming surface. These are not simple shelves. The architects who designed this space understood that knowledge has enemies: water, fire, insects, time itself. Every threat has been anticipated. Every defense has been built into stone. The walls are lined with armaria, deep niches carved directly into the rock face. Each niche holds multiple scrolls, standing upright in the darkness like silent soldiers. The stone keeps temperature stable, even when Mediterranean summer beats against the city above. The cedar oil repels beetles and moths that would otherwise feast on papyrus. The depth of each niche protects against flame, creating a barrier of air and stone between one collection and the next. If fire reaches one section, it cannot easily jump to another. But finding anything in this labyrinth should be impossible. 500,000 scrolls, no alphabetical order as you would understand it, no card catalog, no computer search. How does anyone locate a specific text written by a specific author on a specific subject? Walk closer to any armaria and you will see the answer. Hanging from the end of each scroll is a small strip of leather or parchment, the titulus. Written in careful Greek letters, it identifies the author, the title, sometimes the subject matter. A scholar searching for Euclid's work on geometry can walk these corridors reading tituli without unrolling a single scroll, eliminating hundreds of irrelevant texts with each step. The system works. It is not perfect, but it is functional. Knowledge can be retrieved in hours rather than years.
Now step into the reading halls where that knowledge transforms into discovery. The air here carries a different weight. Papyrus dust hangs in shafts of sunlight that penetrate through high windows designed to illuminate without heating. Men sit at wooden tables, scrolls unrolled before them, writing on wax tablets or fresh papyrus with reed pens. Some work in intense silence. Others argue in low voices, debating the meaning of a particular passage, the validity of a geometric proof, the accuracy of an astronomical observation. That man hunched over a scroll covered in geometric diagrams is Euclid. He is constructing the Elements, a mathematical work so fundamental that it will be taught in schools 2,000 years from now. Every theorem, every proof, every logical step is being refined here, tested against the accumulated mathematical knowledge from Babylon, Egypt, and Greece that exists nowhere else on Earth. At another table, Eratosthenes is calculating the circumference of the planet beneath his feet. He possesses two pieces of information. In Cyrene, far to the south, the sun stands directly overhead at noon on the summer solstice, casting no shadow. In Alexandria, at that same moment, it casts a shadow at a measurable angle. With geometry and the known distance between the two cities, he can calculate Earth's size. His result will be accurate within 2%. He is measuring the world using nothing but shadow, distance, and thought. In rooms that most citizens of Alexandria do not know exist, Herophilus is performing dissections on human cadavers, a practice forbidden in most of the Greek world. The Ptolemaic kings permit it here, understanding that medicine cannot advance without understanding the body's internal architecture. Herophilus cuts carefully, tracing nerves, examining organs, discovering that the brain, not the heart, is the seat of intelligence. His hands are steady, his observations are meticulous. He is founding neuroscience in a basement room in Egypt 23 centuries before MRI machines.
Step outside into the museum's botanical gardens. Plants from across the known world grow in organized beds, medicinal herbs from Anatolia, grain varieties from Mesopotamia, strange flowers carried from India. Scholars study them, classify them, test their properties. This is applied knowledge. The library feeds the mind, but the gardens feed Alexandria. Yet above all this industry, above all these careful observations and revolutionary thoughts, hangs an invisible but absolute truth: fragility. Every scroll is unique. Every idea recorded here exists nowhere else in this detail, this completeness. The building may be stone, the preservation system sophisticated, but papyrus burns. Knowledge, for all its power, is shockingly mortal. The scholars know this. They copy obsessively, creating duplicates, sending texts to other libraries in Pergamum, Athens, Rhodes. But there is never enough time, never enough papyrus, never enough scribes. The rate of acquisition exceeds the rate of preservation. The library grows faster than it can protect itself. The year is now 48 BC. 3 centuries have passed since the museum opened its doors. The library has grown beyond all original projections. New wings, additional storage chambers, expanded reading halls. But Alexandria's golden age is ending. Rome's shadow stretches across the Mediterranean, and with Rome comes chaos. Julius Caesar arrives, pursuing Pompey in Egypt's civil war. He brings legions, ambition, and catastrophic carelessness. When Egyptian forces trap him in the palace district, he makes a tactical decision that will echo across millennia: burn the enemy ships in the harbor. Fire does what fire always does: it spreads. Stand at the harbor that morning. The wind is blowing from the sea toward the city. Flames leap from ship to ship, consuming wood, rope, and sail. Then the fire reaches the docks, the warehouses, the storage buildings where scrolls wait in wooden crates before transfer to the library's permanent collections. The smoke turns black. The smell is not just burning wood, it is burning knowledge. The exact extent of the damage remains debated even in your time. Some ancient sources claim the library itself burned. Others insist only the harbor warehouses were destroyed. The truth likely sits between, not total destruction, but catastrophic loss. 40,000 scrolls in temporary storage, waiting to be cataloged, copied, integrated into the permanent collection. Gone, reduced to ash that blows across Alexandria's white stone streets like black snow. But the greater tragedy unfolds more slowly. Fire is dramatic, but neglect is thorough. Over the following centuries, as Rome's power solidifies and priorities shift, the museum receives less funding. Fewer scholars are supported. Positions go unfilled when great minds die. The copying stops. The preservation systems fail. Moisture seeps into storage chambers no longer maintained. Insects find their way past deteriorating cedar oil treatments. Scrolls that survived Caesar's fire crumble from simple abandonment. Then comes ideology, new powers, new religions, new certainties about what knowledge is dangerous and what is permitted. The library becomes suspect. Those ancient texts on geometry and astronomy, those medical dissections, those philosophical inquiries that question everything, including the nature of gods, all of it begins to look like threat rather than treasure. Scrolls disappear. Some are deliberately destroyed. Others are repurposed, the precious papyrus too valuable to waste, used as fuel in public baths, or torn into strips for everyday documents. By the 4th century AD, the Library of Alexandria effectively no longer exists. The building may still stand, a few scholars may still work in its remaining halls, but the collection, that impossible accumulation of human knowledge, has scattered to wind and fire
and simple human indifference. Now measure what was lost. The works of Aristotle that survived to your time represent perhaps 1/5 of what he wrote. 4/5 vanished, likely in Alexandria's storerooms. Sophocles wrote over 100 plays. 7 survive. The other 93 are gone. Aristarchus of Samos calculated that Earth orbits the Sun 17 centuries before Copernicus and wrote the mathematical proof. That proof existed in Alexandria. It does not exist now.
Consider the medical knowledge lost. Roman surgical techniques documented in Alexandrian texts included procedures not rediscovered until the Renaissance: cataract surgery, hernia repair, bone-setting methods. Gone. The astronomical observations accumulated from Babylon, Egypt, and Greece, representing thousands of years of data, the foundation for understanding planetary motion and predicting eclipses, lost. Mechanical engineering designs by Hero of Alexandria, including steam engines, automated theaters, and sophisticated gear systems, vanished. Imagine those scrolls survived. Imagine the accumulated knowledge of the ancient world passes intact into medieval hands. Does the Renaissance arrive in the year 800 instead of 1400? Does the Industrial Revolution begin when Rome still rules? Do humans reach space before they discover America? This is not fantasy. This is measuring the cost of lost knowledge. Close your eyes one final time. Feel the weight of those corridors, now empty. The armoria, now bare stone holes in darkness. The reading halls, now silent. Knowledge is not permanent. Civilization is not inevitable. Progress is not guaranteed. Everything humanity learns, discovers, builds, can disappear faster than it was created. Alexandria did not burn in a day. It died across centuries, one forgotten scroll at a time, one unfilled position, one budget cut, one ideological purge, one moment of carelessness compounded into catastrophe. The Library of Alexandria fell not because knowledge was destroyed, but because humans stopped protecting it. The lesson is simple. The stakes are eternal. What we know can be forgotten. What we discover can be lost. The only backup is vigilance. The scrolls are gone, but the warning remains.